Tonight we will be talking about barbarians. And to someone who lives in Rome, this is the country where in Roman times barbarians used to live. We are ultra limes here. And if you read what Caesar and Tacitus and others wrote about these parts, wild people living on small patches of land that were covered by the sea after a few hours, and how they survived we don't know, and they're big and ferocious, etc. But Caesar exaggerated. He exaggerated because he needed that for political reasons. He exaggerated because he needed to get more funding from the Senate for his expeditions, but also because he needed to cover up his own failings by creating this image of these monstrous barbarians living in these areas. I think this is an interesting way to look at your book, of the way we have a tendency of portraying barbarians, not like they are, but the image we think. The essence of what you write about barbarians is that they are destructive because they want to be destructive, and from this destruction comes a new creation. Or to put it in more mundane terms, they don't behave according to the rules the existing powers that be expect, and thus the existing powers believe they are destructive, but from changing the rules they create something new. And one of the examples you use in your book, which will appeal to some of the audience, although some of the audience wasn't born yet then, is the way the Dutch national team played football in 1974. Perhaps this is a good example to elaborate on what you mean by this creative force.
It's a good example if you like soccer. For example, my mother, when she read these pages about soccer.
Okay, we'll do Beethoven, but we'll start with football.
It's a barbarian example, but it's good.
If I understand you correctly, you identify three things in the barbarian's behavior. First is disregard the rules. Second is have fun. And third is don't be afraid to fail. As long as your rate of success is slightly higher than your fail rate, it's okay. Is that something you could, in general terms, apply to how so-called barbarians behave? Is that also the way creative energy is released, for instance, in new societies or relations?
Yes, in the autism in which I grew up, and most of us, to be motionless in one point, concentrate, passionate, have time, reflection, and go in deep in this point was exactly the beginning of the knowledge, or the thinking, okay? And for the barbarian civilization, it's exactly the opposite. If you are motionless in a point, you are dead.
I think people here very often wonder, why do Italians stick to this clownesque, if I may be so offensive, figure of Berlusconi? Why does he appeal to the population so that he can hang on to power for so long? What is the reason?
There are so many reasons. One of the reasons is that everybody else was not convincing.
So the first reason is the rest is too weak.
Yes, too weak, and that happens. That happens.
I know.
Another reason is more general, that the politic in the barbarian age turned a little bit in a fighting of storytelling. It's not a proposal of solution for problems. It's a telling story.
There's one extreme thing you say in your book. I'm a great fan of it, I must say. Many people here in this room has been coming because I demanded them to come. There's one extreme thing which you're saying, and that is that the barbarians are also a bit afraid of the deep. Because and you're not very specific about it, but you say it, they blame the deep for a lot of war that has happened after Romantism, like for instance the First and Second World War. I want to be very sure about this, that you really think this is happening to the barbarians, because I'm telling people that you think that barbarians are blaming the deep for that sort of destruction. Do you believe really that barbarians are thinking that the deep is...
Thinking is not the word. Feeling, yes. Yes, I'm pretty sure. But me too, I'm afraid to values and principles too deep. Because the experience we made, often the old civilization that barbarians, the old civilization, you can recognize this old civilization in the 9th century,
19th century. 20th century, sorry.
20th century and the 19th century. So in the classical music, top level, in the literature, top level, philosophy, top level. Well, this kind of thinking, the real thing is that this kind of thinking have produced the most horrible century in the story of the man.
I want to thank the audience for your patience, but above all, Alessandro Baricco, I want to thank you for your insights, for your wonderful style, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and for your twisted but very insightful way at looking at the world, which helps us understand where we are and where we're going. Thank you very, very much.